I would say Chairman Stephen Perry. I'm pleased that I happen to be the only one to address you, Chairman. You're one of the organizers of this event. And Sir Sherrod and Chairman Sun, thank you for that kind introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, my Lord and peace, dear friends, it's nice to be back. I still remember 5 years ago, I gave a talk to a British business community about the 18th Party Congress. I still remember it was Chairman Stephen Perry and other business leaders who hosted this event. Back then, I talked about my confidence in the prospects for China's development. The past 5 years have shown that I have been right to be confident. Over the past 5 years, China's achievements have touched every area and broken new ground. The change in China have been profound and fundamental. These achievements and changes are having powerful and far-reaching impact on China's development today and beyond. 5 years later, we are here gathered again following the successful 19th Party Congress. Today it is my great pleasure to share my thought and observation about the epoch-making Congress. I think it will be quite challenging and daunting task for me to summarize my impression and observation of this important Congress in 30 minutes after President Xi, we call General Secretary Xi, delivered this speech, this report for 3.5 hours without stop. But I will try my best. I attended this Congress and was deeply impressed by the long list of outcomes and far-reaching impacts. General Secretary Xi Jinping's report at the Congress summarized the historic achievements and changes with regard to China's development over the past 5 years. There have been overarching advancements in political, theoretical, and practical aspects. The meeting rolled out strategic plans for party building and the national development. A new era of socialism with Chinese characteristics has begun. A new journey to build China into a modern socialist country has started. And the new commitments are made by China to make the world a better place. There's no doubt about the significance of the guiding principles and action plans adopted at the 19th Party Congress. They are historic landmarks for Chinese nation, for socialism, and for human society. So what exactly does the 19th Party Congress mean to China? What does it mean to the world? And what does it mean to China-UK relations? I'll try my best to answer the three questions. To explain the significance and impact of the Congress, let me begin with its 4 major outcomes. First, the 19th Party Congress set the fundamental guidance for China's development. The Chinese philosophy emphasizes the importance of guidance. Where there's a clear and strong guidance, the rest will follow through. As our ancient sage said, the report of the 19th Party Congress provides such a clear and strong guidance. It is Xi Jinping's thought on socialism with the Chinese characteristics for the new era. This is established as a theoretical guidance that the Communist Party of China must adhere to in the long run. Xi Jinping thought is a system of scientific and comprehensive theory. It outlines the overarching objectives, tasks, plans, and strategy in upholding and developing socialism with the Chinese characteristics in the new era. It addresses a number of fundamental issues, such as the direction, model, driving force of development, the strategic steps to be taken, the external conditions, and political guarantee. Theoretical guidance is the soul of a political party. The Communist Party of China has a history of 96 years and has been in government for 68 years. It is the largest political party in the world with 89 million members, much bigger than the British population. It is a party that has led the Chinese people in achieving remarkable development. It is a party that has led the Chinese nation in its tremendous transformation from getting on its feet to growing prosperous and becoming strong. None of this have been possible without CPC's consistent efforts to enrich and develop Marxism. Xi Jinping thought represents the CPC's latest achievement in adapting Marxism to the Chinese specific conditions. It is an important component of system, of theories of socialism with the Chinese characteristics. It is an action guide for realizing Chinese dream of national rejuvenation. Second, the 19th Party Congress has come to an important conclusion about evolving contradiction facing Chinese society. Socialism with the Chinese characteristics has crossed the threshold into a new era. It is a new historic juncture in China's development. Enormous social progress have been achieved under the leadership of CPC since reform and opening up began nearly 4 decades ago. Against this historic background, the principal contradiction facing Chinese society has evolved, and so has our main task. What we must do now is to address the unbalanced and inadequate development in order to meet the people's ever-growing need for a better life. A better life not only means growing material and cultural needs. A better life entails greater democracy, rule of law, fairness and justice, security, and a better environment. While China sees its overall productive forces significantly improved, and in many areas leading the world, our development remains unbalanced and inadequate. The principal contradiction now is between people's growing need for a better life and unbalanced and inadequate development. Contradiction is the fundamental driving force of progress. The change of Chinese principal contradiction has given rise to new issues we must address. The CPC will do its utmost to live up to the people's expectations, to meet their growing needs in all aspects, and to ensure strong sense of fulfillment and the feeling of happiness, security across the country. And it will work for well-rounded development for every individual and social progress in all respects. Third, the 19th Party Congress mapped out a new blueprint for China's development in the coming decades. It is a new roadmap leading to the middle of the century. It is punctuated by several time-frame goals, namely, building a moderately prosperous society in 2020, realizing socialist modernization by 2035, and building China into a great modern socialist country that is a prosperous, strong, democratic, culturally advanced, harmonious, and beautiful by the middle of this century. These goals present a detailed vision of the two centenary goals, which marks the 100th anniversary of the party in 2021 and the People's Republic in 2049. To succeed in any endeavor, perseverance is the essence and innovation is the way. If you compare the new blueprint with its predecessor, it is not difficult to see the adjustments and updates to the previous timetable. Let me list out some of the key ones. The time needed for achieving basic socialist modernization is shortened by 15 years. The word beautiful is added as an indispensable benchmark defining the great modern socialist country. Doubling GDP is no longer the target and is replaced with a comprehensive, high quality, and sustainable development. These adjustments speak to the character and progressive nature of the Communist Party of China. This is a party that keeps an open mind, seeks truth from facts, moves forward with the times. It is a party that's gaining deeper understanding of the law of building socialism. This is a party that is raising beacon light for socialism with the Chinese characteristics in the new era. Historically, the journey to modernization for most developed countries and regions in the world took almost 300 years. But in China, a country with a population of more than 1.3 billion, the CPC is determined to complete this journey in 100 years. The speed and scale of change would be unprecedented in human history. The extent and depth of change would also be unseen before. However, we are determined that we can do it. We'll stick to our timetable and our roadmap. We'll press ahead with perseverance. The China miracle will be a splendid chapter in the history of a human civilization. Fourth, the 19th Party Congress elected a new CPC leadership. A great cause calls for strong and firm guidance. History tells us that in a massive country like China, development and progress would be impossible without strong leadership. Over the past 5 years, the achievements we made and changes taking place in China have been phenomenal. This must be attributed to the strong and firm leadership of the party. At the first session of the 19th Central Committee, Xi Jinping was once again elected General Secretary. This reflects the common aspiration of the people. Looking ahead, the 5 years between the 19th and the 20th CPC National Congress will be a crucial phase in China's development. This will be a period in which the time frames of the two centenary goals converge. It will see many exciting landmark laws upon others or profit at others' expense. Instead, we are ready to share the benefits with other countries and welcome them on board the fast train of China's development. China's approach to global partnership is that countries should stick together through thick and thin. China will work with other countries to promote trade and investment liberalization and facilitation and build an open world economy. will advance international cooperation on Belt and Road Initiative. This initiative is a platform for international cooperation and can enable partners to achieve common prosperity. We increase assistance to other developing countries, especially the least developed countries, and do our part to close the development gap. We'll work for balanced and inclusive global growth with a view to building a community of shared future for mankind. At the same time, we are clearly aware of many challenges and tasks we are facing at home. China's development remains unbalanced and inadequate. Growth still needs a stronger and self-sustaining driving force. Economic and financial risks require serious attention. Pollution remains a daunting challenge. There are still weak links in housing, education, health, pension, food and drug safety, income distribution, etc. Beyond our borders, external challenges also deserve our attention. Global growth lacks momentum. Regional hotspots are flaring up, and conventional security threats such as terrorism, cybersecurity, and climate change are looming large. But China has the confidence and capability to tackle these risks and challenges. This is because China's economy is strong and highly resilient. Comprehensive deepening reform is generating powerful driving force. And economic transition and upgrading is creating enormous potential. Here's what we are going to do. We'll build a strong defense to forestall systematic financial risks. We'll improve the financial regulatory system, curb local debt increase, and deleverage state-owned enterprises. We'll optimize state-owned asset management system, take effective measures to prevent loss of state assets. We'll introduce an active list of market access nationwide. This will encourage a fair competition between Chinese and foreign companies and provide level playing field and business-friendly environment in China. Ladies and gentlemen, let me quote an old Chinese saying: "He who does not have a long-term plan is not up to short-term jobs. He who does not have a whole picture in mind cannot design a part." The report of the 19th Party Congress demonstrates both a historical vision and global perspective. Those attending the Congress clearly have a map of the world in their minds. I think what this Congress brings to the world, including Britain, are Chinese wisdom, China's concept, and China's opportunities. First, China's wisdom enriches world's political and social system. Since adopting reform and opening up policies, China has been committed to a path of socialism with the Chinese characteristics. This is the path of our own choice. This path has led China to become the world's second largest economy, to have lifted 700 million people out of poverty. China is now on its way forward to a moderately prosperous society. The key to such achievement is that we have found a development path that suits China. It is a path led by the Communist Party of China. It is a path based on the national conditions and practical experience of China. It is a path that draws on the traditional Chinese culture. It is a path that draws on the best Eastern and Western civilizations. It is a path of consistent exploration and innovation. Xi Jinping sought on socialism with the Chinese characteristics for the new era is exact summary and development of China's path, system, theory, and culture. China has made much progress in building socialism with its own features. This has expanded horizon for developing countries seeking modernization. Countries and nations want to speed up their development while preserving their independence are given a new option. And this is China's wisdom and solution. Confucius once said, "Do not do unto others what you don't want others do unto you." China believes that no one should sanctify its own development models and even impose it onto the others. China respects the right of all countries to choose their own development path. China will not export its own development path, a model, or its own value. China is not interested in competition of ideologies. Other countries are free to find out more about China's development experience and draw strengths or reference as they see fit. They should explore development paths and social system that suits their own history and culture. This is, in essence, the biggest contribution of China's path of socialism with the Chinese characteristics to all humanity. Second, China's concepts enrich contemporary international relations. China follows a path of peaceful development. China pursues a mutually beneficial strategy of opening up. China upholds justice while pursuing shared interests. China seeks open, innovative, and inconclusive development that benefits everyone, that benefits every country. China safeguards world peace, contributes to global development, and upholds international order. In keeping with these concepts, China will never pursue development at the expense of others, but China will never give up its legitimate rights and interests. China will continue to develop and become stronger, but China will never seek hegemony or engage in expansion. China is committed to forging a new form of international relations featuring mutual respect, fairness, justice, and win-win cooperation. China will never repeat the old trajectory, namely, the winner takes it all, or strength leads to hegemony. China opts for a new approach to state-to-state relations. We want dialogue, not confrontation. We want partnership, not alliance with one against another. We believe that the interests of Chinese people are closely connected with that of the other countries. And we believe that the people all share the same dream for a better future of the world. China looks to work together with all other countries to build an open, inclusive, clean, and beautiful world that enjoys lasting peace, universal security, and common prosperity. Our concerted efforts will lead us to the dream of a community of a shared future for mankind. Third, China's opportunities enrich the win-win cooperation of the world. China will continue to open up to the world. This is a fundamental policy. We pursue development paths with our doors wide open. In particular, we are working actively to advance international cooperation on the Belt and Road Initiative. We support multilateral trade regimes, works to facilitate the establishment of free trade areas and building an open world economy. We work for a more open, inclusive, and balanced economic globalization, and we believe that the benefit of globalization should be shared by all. At present, China is the largest trading partner for more than 120 countries and regions. China is also the world's second largest investor and the largest destination for foreign direct investment. China's investment and trade activities create 15 million jobs in the world now, every year, including 180,000 jobs in the countries along the Belt and Road routes. As an old Chinese saying goes, the more you do for others, the more you will gain. The more you share with others, the more you will have. Win-win cooperation has long been the philosophy of life for Chinese people. It is also the principle that China will continue to follow in its relations with the world. A China committed to win-win cooperation will bring greater development opportunities for countries around the world. China will increase access to its domestic market, including services sector. China will enhance IPR protection, try out free trade ports, and advance Belt and Road Initiative. In November next year, China will host the first International Import Expo in Shanghai. In 2019, China will host the second Belt and Road Forum for International Cooperation. From 2018 to 2020, China is expected to grow by at least 6.3% every year. This will surely help sustain growth in the world. In the coming 5 years, China will import $8,000 billion of goods, attract $600 billion of foreign investment, and make $750 billion in outbound investment. Chinese nationals will make about 700 million visits overseas. All these prospects promise a broad market, abundant capital, and great variety of products, and huge opportunities for the world. The 19th Party Congress is also bringing opportunities to Britain. The Chinese dream of national rejuvenation echoes with the British dream proposed by Prime Minister May. Socialism with the Chinese characteristics for the new era is a match for China-UK golden era. The practical cooperation between China and Britain has become a fine example of win-win cooperation and common development between China and the West. Last year, China-UK trade totaled at $74.4 billion. From January to August this year, British export to China increased by 13.2%. So China still remains the fastest growing export market for UK. China's direct investment in UK exceeded $18 billion, outnumbering Chinese investment in any other European country. In the coming years, our two countries can work harder to dovetail our respective development strategy and deepen cooperation on Belt and Road initiatives. We can expand communication cooperation in fields such as infrastructure, energy, finance, and high-tech. China and Britain have broad consensus on supporting economic globalization and free trade. China is open to negotiating with the UK an arrangement for closer trade and investment ties. It is my earnest hope that on our way to realize the Chinese dream and British dream, we can learn from each other so that our strengths can match up and our cooperation will go deeper. I believe that with the concerted efforts, we can deliver more golden fruits in this China-UK golden era. Ladies and gentlemen, in this new era, we need a new outlook. We must achieve new success. Here I wish to share with you my 3 hopes. First, I hope the British business community will learn more and learn in greater depth about the progress and changes taking place in China in the new era. I encourage you to visit and see more of China with your own eyes. In English, you say, seeing is believing. In Chinese, we have a much stronger expression. We say, hearing 100 times is not as good as seeing once. I hope from what you hear and see, you will get an objective picture, an all-dimensional understanding of China. I also welcome constructive suggestions and advice from you for China's future development and for China-UK cooperation. Second, I hope you will see the opportunity of China-UK win-win cooperation in a new era. China's development is a great opportunity that mustn't be missed. I suggest you read the strategies and policies adopted at the 19th Party Congress carefully. This will help you seize the opportunities and catch the express stream of China's development. This will help you tap into the cooperation potential and expand cooperation on Belt and Road initiatives and also other areas. They will facilitate the common development and win-win cooperation between China and the UK. Third, I hope you will be more actively engaged in building China-UK golden era. The new 5-year period, marked by the 19th Party Congress, will soon begin. The building of China-UK golden era will also accelerate. Sound China-UK relationship requires unremitting efforts from both China and Britain. China in the new era will continue to power the building of China-UK golden era. I hope you will all get involved and contribute to this golden era. I also hope you will support stronger China-UK cultural ties and closer people-to-people exchanges. This is a golden bond that binds our nation together. This will also provide a solid public support for our bilateral ties to grow to a new high. Ladies and gentlemen, according to Chinese lunar calendar, today marks the beginning of the winter. I don't know how many of you realize that. So the 3 wise men, Stephen Perry, Sir Sherry, Mr. Sun, picked the day, the beginning of winter. That reminds me of Percy Shelley's famous line, "If winter comes, can spring be far behind?" It is true, the spring is not far from us. As I talk about the significance and impact of the 19th Party Congress at the beginning of the winter, I'm also already looking forward to the spring of China, full of expectations. And more importantly, I'm looking forward with unchanged confidence to an even brighter future for China. It is my firm belief that the Communist Party of China will lead the Chinese people to decisive victory in building a moderately prosperous society in all aspects. It will lead the Chinese people in the drive to secure success of socialism with the Chinese characteristics for the new era. It will lead the Chinese people in pursuit the Chinese dream of national rejuvenation. I also believe that China and Britain will each realize our respective dreams, will become closer partners in building a community of shared future for mankind, will work together for an open, inclusive, clean, and beautiful world that enjoys lasting peace, universal security, and shared prosperity. Together, we can and will build a better and brighter future for the world. Thank you. Thank you for your attention.